Hello, this is Board Vice President Scott Schmerelson, and today I have Manish Singh from the Food Services Division as my guest. Hello, Manish. Thank you for joining me.
Pleasure to be here, Mr. Schmelson.
And I'm so glad to have you join me because I want to share with our viewers what I know to be true, which is how seriously LAUSD takes providing nutritious food for our students. And I'd like to start by asking you, how many years have you been working for LAUSD, and a bit about your role as director?
I've been with LAUSD actually next month. I will be completing 17 years with Los Angeles Unified, of which I'm in my sixth year as the director. It's been interesting that you asked me this question. A little about my role as the director. During these 6 years, we've been through several emergencies, I would say. We've been through 2 strikes. We've been through some fires. We went through the pandemic. And then, of course, the business of taking care of our students and making sure that they get healthy, nutritious meals. Of course, with each situation, we had to pivot and do different things. If you recall, during the pandemic, we distributed millions of meals, and I'll talk about that later. In order to distribute those meals, we had to go to getting those meals pre-prepared, packaged, because we were giving out weekend meals during holidays. We gave out meals for a whole week. So it required a different kind of operation. Since the last 2 years, we've been focusing upon having more freshly prepared meals at school sites. Our intent, of course, and the goal is to get more students to eat, because that's what this program is to feed students. So if they're not eating, there's something wrong. Either we're doing something wrong or we're not connected. So we've done many things on that front. Last year, we had food tasting events at literally every school. And we invited parents, we invited students to taste what we were serving on our menus, get their feedback from them. Last year, we had 5 vendor fairs in which we asked our vendor partners to come and showcase items which they would like to put on the menu. Various choices. So we had our chicken suppliers provide chicken products. We had about 4 or 5 vendors who were providing us with vegan options. The same thing with cheese, with beef, with turkey, all these different segments. And we actually had about 1,400 students participate in these 5 vendor tastings, providing us with their input. And as the year has been progressing, we've been adding some of those things to our menu, especially the ones which the students gave a big thumbs up for. So in order to get student input, we do the food tastings plus do these vendor fairs. We've also been doing parent and community engagement meetings, met with many parent groups, and we will continue to do that because this is an opportunity for the parents to actually see firsthand what is it that's being served to their students. I was at a tasting just on Friday last week, and this was at El Sereno Middle School, and there were a group of about 60, 70 students, and there were another 15 or 20 parents. So I made it a beeline to go and talk to the parents, and was pleasantly happy to hear from them that they thought that the choices that we were giving to students were very good. So these are some of the new things which are going to be coming on the menu, and I'll talk to you about them a little later.
That's just wonderful, Mr. Singh. And I was at a tasting at Mulholland Middle School, so everything you said is absolutely true. It was a marvelous, marvelous experience. But first, I'd like to start by saying that many people know that food services plays an important role in our community, but for many students in our district, the main source of nourishment may be through Cafe LA. In fact, the pandemic, food services made sure that families had meals to take home to ensure that no students went hungry. So, can you start by going back and telling us about the grab and go locations and how many meals were we able to serve?
That operation was a unique operation. I'm very happy to state, I think distributed the largest number of meals in the country. Um, we were distributing meals from about 3 or 4 different sources. One was, of course, meals that we were preparing. And if you recollect, our superintendent at the time, Mr. Butner, said, we will feed and serve everybody, including the community. So when that happened, of course, we had to ramp up our deliveries and procurement in order to be able to serve the several 100,000 meals that we were serving daily. For that entire duration of a little over a year, it was actually about 13 months, we served 123.23 million meals. We distributed that number of meals, out of which we got from the USDA Farmers to Family program. We also got meals from the food bank. We also got meals from the World Central Kitchen. And in addition to that, we also other meals which we put together in our kitchens and distributed them. So we were really the person who was trying to support each and every person. And we did not turn away anything. We had 61 locations, and it was distributed throughout the state, the city, and the county of Los Angeles. So I think most people who needed a meal did come to us, and we served them without having any judgment. We had all kinds of people coming. Some were, we could see, in a very nice, needy situation. Some were in a different situation. Our point was, you've come for a meal, we're going to give it to you, and we did.
Thank you. Thank you. I also was a regular volunteer at the grab and go locations. It was heartwarming to see people getting what they needed. So, Manish, another thing that many don't know is that our food services, or Cafe LA, operates one of the largest school breakfast programs in the entire nation and the second largest national school lunch program. We serve over 530,000 meals every day. And that includes a healthy breakfast, lunch, supper, after school. Can you tell us about what kind of operation is needed to make that happen?
It's true. And I'm happy to report to you that in the first 3 weeks of November, as well as the whole month of October, we've actually consistently been serving over 550,000 meals a day. Every day. So the numbers have been growing. We do serve, even now, about 240,000 breakfasts, serve about 262 to 264,000 lunches, and anything between 48 to 50,000 suppers every day. We have a team of about 3,800 people, which is a food services team. But there's a whole other group of people who are supporting us. There's a procurement who's helping us procure the food, getting it to our warehouse in Pico. Also, we have direct deliveries of milk, bread, produce, which goes directly to our schools from our vendors. We have truck operations, which actually takes the meals and distributes it. And then my staff, we have the Newman Nutrition Center, which supports about 170 schools. And there we assemble and prepare meals for those school sites. They're shipped out to them daily. And then the managers over there, they heat and they serve. Every elementary school has fresh fruits and vegetables. Actually, all schools have fresh fruits and vegetables daily. Having said this, it's an operation which runs nonstop. While the staff is preparing meals for the day on which the service is happening, they're also prepping meals for the following day because it's a continuous operation. So I would say it is thanks to our dedicated food services staff, all our managers, my area supervisors, our trainers, our food service workers who make it happen. The custodial staff really supports us as schools. They're the ones who keep it clean because food safety is our number one priority. So it's a team effort beyond just food services. And I think all segments of the district are there to support us. If it wasn't for the principals and the administrators who are overseeing and supervising the students, none of this would have been possible. So I would say the food services community, the LAUSD community, also our parent groups, everybody makes it happen for us. And that's how we're able to serve all our students. And I'm seeing a lot more happy faces when I go to school. I was talking to some principals recently at our data dialogues, and they said, the kids just come and they love the food. I have no problems with them eating. I was like, that's what I really want to hear. I don't want somebody coming and giving me a scripted response. I want to know what's actually happening at the schools.
That is so true, Manish. I frequently call you and I tell you, hey, the kids really like this, or the kids really don't care for that. And you always respond. And I thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. But I want to ask you something really interesting, something I never knew about. And I thought I knew all about the cafeteria, how LAUSD recently introduced its first food truck to promote school meals to students. And tell us, what kind of meals do these food trucks, what will they be offering? And how can a school request a food truck to show up at their campus? And are there any more purchasing of food trucks? Tell us about that.
The food trucks had been talked about for many, many years. And, we all used to think that nice thing to talk about, but we never thought it would become reality. When Superintendent Carvalho came on, he brought up this topic about food trucks. We said, okay, we'll make it happen. Fortunately for us, No Kids Hungry, who is a great partner, and one of their directors and I had done a program at USC together. She bumped into me and she said, I heard you're looking for food trucks. I said, yes, I am. And she said, we can help. So No Kids Hungry stepped in and gave us a grant for a substantial amount of the money, about 80% of the cost, which really helped us. And lo and behold, we got our first food truck. The intent of the food truck is to actually, it's going to be serving only reimbursable meals, which means meals that we can get paid for by the federal government under the National School Lunch Program. So it is to become the celebration truck for LAUSD schools. Previously schools used to be like, oh, we have something to celebrate. We have perfect attendance, or scores were this high. So they would be looking to do a pizza party, or they're looking to do something else. We said, we'll be that for you. We will do all the celebrations for you. So while the meals are reimbursed, then you don't have to pay a single penny. At the same point of time, we'll make the menus very interesting. So we have 3 menus, which schools will be able to choose from. One is the wing and things. So we actually have the very popular wings, different flavors. Then we have the burger and things menu, which has our loaded cheeseburger. We also have a vegan burger, the Impossible Burger. And then we have with it 3 other options, including a fresh salad. And then we have our carnitas menu, which has chicken tacos. We have carnita tacos. We have the vegan tacos, again, salad. And then, of course, we have our slushies and fresh fruits. So far, we've sent them out to 7-8 schools. They've been very successful. The good thing that we found out is that on the days when they are at the school, we actually add more meals. It's not that there are fewer kids going to the cafeteria. There are more kids eating overall at the school. So, our limit with the food truck is that we can serve up till about 400 meals because there's a time limit in which we have to do it because of the lunch break. So we've been able to do that. But in addition to that, the cafeteria is serving almost about 90% of what they normally used to serve. So just a 10% drop, but an addition of anything between 350 to 400 meals at the school site. In order to order the food truck, we send communication out to the 4 regional offices, to the regional superintendents and the AOOs with a form which is then sent out to the schools. Currently, we are focusing on the secondary schools. We only have 1 truck. So we want to give them the first opportunity. Those are the places where it's a little more difficult to get some of the kids to come and eat because some kids have an opinion that school meals are not cool. Food truck is going to make it cool. As we move forward, we are looking to acquire 3 more trucks. The RFP is going out on the street right around this time. So by the end of the school year, early next school year, we should have 3 more trucks, 4 trucks in total, 1 per school district, 1 per region. And so every school should be able to request a food truck whenever they want.
Wow. Wow. That sounds just great. Thank you. Thank you. So I know that in an effort to provide healthier food options, every elementary school features fresh fruit and a vegetable bar daily to help students develop healthy eating habits. Is there a plan to offer this same option to middle and high schools?
So I would say this, high schools and middle schools also do get fresh salads every day. They have a minimum of 1, if not 2, fresh salads available. One of them could be vegan, one could be the other option. Fresh fruits and vegetables are provided daily also at high schools. We also have a Harvest of the Month program where we feature one locally grown fruit or vegetable, which we highlight. So for this month, it's been persimmons because it's persimmon season. As we move forward, what we did at the secondary schools is that in addition to the daily 5 to 7 options that they have for food, we've been adding more things. So, for example, last year we added the smoothies and we ordered a smoothie and well as a smoothie cups with the granola. We are now looking to add to them ramen bowls. This will be at the secondary schools. So to your point, in terms of fresh, we are offering them fresh fruits and vegetables. But in addition to that, we are substantiating with other things which are freshly prepared at the school sites, which are going to entice these kids to come and eat. I remember we announced that we'll be getting the ramen bowl at Panorama High School, and the kids burst into such an applause. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. I know. I believe that. So next, I want to ask you how students can learn about the many options that are on the menu at the school site. So is there a way that they can easily do this on their own online? And I'd also like to know if students have the opportunity to provide feedback or even to suggest menu options to you.
Absolutely. As I shared previously, we've been doing these food tasting events, so we do solicit feedback over there. But in terms of online, 2 things. We have a digital app called the Yum Yummy. So I'm going to spell it for you. It's YUMMI. So if you go onto whether you're using Apple or using the other platform, just go looking for this app and you can download it on your phone. It is free of charge. At this point in time, we have 37,320 subscribers who look at and who have access to this or who download it on their phone. Once you download it in the phone, you can look up the following information. You can see the menus for the next 2 weeks, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Many families I hear, get together on the weekend and look at it collectively with the kids to decide which days the kids are eating at the school and which days they might have other alternatives. In addition to that, it also provides information about allergens. It also provides information about nutrients, which are in the menus. So all students can look up, all parents can look up what is on the menu. In terms of providing feedback, it does have a feature where the students can provide input and feedback on any menu item. They can also put in their comments about it, and they can also put in their suggestions. So every month, I take a report from the system. On an average, I would say we get at least 1,000 responses. And consistently, I would say, since we started using this app, which is now going 18 months, 70% or more responses have been positive, that they have liked the food. And then, some people on the same menu item, you might have certain small percentage of students who might say, no, I didn't like it. Or on a particular item, they might say, larger number say, no, I don't like this. So as we get that feedback, we review it, and then we look to replace those menu items or find new ones so that kids are getting what they would like.
That's great. That is really great news. So, Mr. Manish, as the board member of Board District 3, I have 105 schools, which I visit every single one of them at least once every year. So now I want to talk to you about one of the places that I visit every single time I'm in my schools, and that is our cafeteria kitchens. I know that in order to best serve our students, our kitchens have to be up to date. And I know that this is an important investment. Can you tell us about that?
Most definitely. It's a couple of things. Number one is as we move to preparing fresh options in schools, you need the equipment. Second part is you need the staff to be trained because for the longest time, they haven't really cooked from scratch, as you might say, that you get a head of lettuce and you chop it up and you prep it. We normally used to get it pre-cut and everything. So as we are doing this, we were fortunate that the state of California gave us kitchen infrastructure and training funds. So we are utilizing those to get fresh equipment, new equipment into our cafeterias. Among the big purchases that we had, one was the fruit and vegetable carts that we put out at all our elementary schools. That was one of the big purchases. The second one is we're getting combi ovens. Now, what is a combi oven? If somebody will say, why is combi ovens being given so much importance? Combi ovens have revolutionized cooking. Now, if you go to many restaurants, you go to different catering facilities, they have replaced the standard convection ovens with combi ovens. Combi ovens use a combination of heat as well as moisture to cook. You'll be surprised that we can even brown crumbled meat inside a combi oven. When they first told me, I didn't believe them till I saw it happening. In addition to that, combi ovens can be worked remotely, means they can be programmed. So we are getting them into our schools. You mentioned Mulholland Middle School. It was one of the first ones to get a combi oven. They got it last week, which has been installed. And so they are going to be transitioning to start to use the combi oven. We actually tested the combi oven at Bravo Medical Magnet for a year plus. And what we found was that with the same product cooking in a combi oven, because it uses a combination of heat and moisture, the food tastes fresher. Even the fries, which we do not deep fry, when they come out, they're hot and they're crisp, which is amazing. It's like having air fryers in the house. They're like that. So it's going to change. In addition to that, we could even program those and we could even cook proteins overnight so that when you come in the morning, they could be ready to use. I know of other school districts who are already doing that. It's going to really change what we can do in our kitchens. In addition to that, we also bringing in food processors into our schools so that our staff, they don't have to do everything manually. They have the food processors, which cuts, chops, does all that for them. And, just when you chop, say, for example, carrots, and you were to cut them as juliennes, then you cut them as dices, then you cut them in different shapes. The perception is it's a different product, while it's exactly the same product. So those are some of the things which will be coming into play with this. Also, in order to keep this going, we are investing in software also. We've been using the same software for the last 15 years, so it's a little outdated. So we're investing in that as well as point of sale equipment. It's going to make the cafeteria is going to be a very different place in the next 2 to 3 years. And then, of course, we're looking to invest some money into the look of the cafeterias because that also is very important when you go to a place. It's not just the food, you also want a nice ambience. So we hope to deliver on that as well.
That's true. In many of my middle schools and high schools, when I go into the cafeteria where the students enter, it looks like a college dining room. It's so modern and so nice. So thank you for that. But here's another question. that people constantly ask us, is breakfast in the classroom still in effect? And do all schools participate? And are students required to participate, or can they opt out of breakfast in the classroom?
All right, so I'm going to attempt to answer this question one topic at a time. First and
Okay.
foremost, breakfast in the classroom is still alive and kicking. We had to make changes during the pandemic because, as you recall, at that point in time, social distancing was a big thing. We had actually contacted the health department in 21 and asked them what their take was on breakfast in the classroom. And the solution they came up with was that if you have a classroom with 30 people, probably you want 10 of them eating at a time. And I was like, that's going to make the whole instruction session into the teacher monitoring who's eaten and who hasn't eaten, not practically possible. So at that point of time, Mr. Principal, if you remember, we were giving students bags of breakfast to take home, so that way if they needed it, they took breakfast as well as supper to go. Last year, when school was going to start, there was still a concern that COVID is still happening. Do we really want kids to eat in the classroom? So we gave everyone the option, that's the principals, to see what is best for them and what is best for their community. This year, so at this point in time, there's still about 60% of our students, of our schools, which are on BIC, breakfast in the classroom. And I'm happy to report that an increasingly growing number of schools are opting in for breakfast in the classroom. In our surveys, which go out to parents and students, especially to parents, more than 55% of parents said they wanted to have breakfast in the classroom. And I think that is an appropriate thing because lots of students maybe haven't had breakfast at home. They're coming into school at the last minute. They're in a hurry in the morning. They don't get an opportunity to eat. You start the day on an empty stomach. How much are you going to be able to concentrate on what's happening in the classroom? And so, as I shared with you, when we ended last school year, we were serving on an average anything between about, say, 2009 to 2014, 15,000 meals, breakfast meals a day. As of November, we were serving up till about 240,000. So that's a growth of, 25, 30,000 meals. We're still talking to other principals. We have gone back to principals and to the schools and said, we're not mandating or forcing something, but I think it's important to remember that many of our students may be in a situation that they're facing food insecurity. So if they don't get this meal at school, they're probably not eating. So it's in our best interest to make that available to them. And very happy to report that many principals have heard us and have, restarted BIC. Some of them in a hybrid form, but they are doing BIC, and that's why you're seeing that the numbers are growing. Then you had another question. Are students required to participate or not? None of our programs is mandatory in the sense that a kid has to come and eat. The meals are available to them. If they choose to eat, they can. If they choose not to eat, that's their choice. But we do encourage them to eat because we're making all these changes. And if they don't participate, then, you're missing the point. The other part of it, people think that we get a budget and, it's given to us. It doesn't work like this. We only get paid by the federal government for the number of meals that we serve. So if students don't eat, we do not get paid. And we also have bills to pay because I have a whole staff which has to do the work and they need to be paid. And then in addition to that, we have to purchase food. So I strongly encourage parents and students to please come and participate. We are here hearing your voices. You want changes, talk to us, but at the same point of time, support us too.
Thank you. Thank you. And here's my final question. And it's one that gets asked by a lot of parents that are especially new to the district. If their child has food allergies or they're concerned about the food that the children will be eating, how does the district accommodate students with allergies? And what steps should the parent take? And who should the parent talk to if they need to talk about their food allergies?
This is true of several students. Um, we do have, I think, at this point in time, over 1,000 students who have special needs in terms of the food that they can eat. According to further rules of the federal government, students who have allergies, their needs need to be accommodated. We do have a form on our website, which is under the parents' resources as well as principal resources, specifically to deal with special diets. All that is required is that the parent fills it out, takes it to a physician or a registered nurse, and they sign off on it. It comes to us. All they need to do is scan it and email it into us. Information is available on our website. If they want to do it, they can walk up to the school, give it to the cafeteria manager, who then sends it into us. I have a team of 4 nutritionists who are all qualified registered dietitians. So they review the forms, they look at our menus, and they specifically create menus for those students who have these special needs in terms of, that they have allergies to certain foods or they don't want to eat certain foods. So all that is available to them. In terms of being able to speak, I'd say the first point of contact should be the school cafeteria manager, who should be able to answer them and help them. Beyond that, if you go to our website, our information is listed over there, including my information. People email me all the time. Happy to hear from them. And somebody from my team will get hold of them within 24 hours of us being contacted. And, we'll make the necessary adjustments. But if parents may still have concerns, our food services number is there also on our website. All they need to do is call us and they'll be connected to the right person, and we will make sure that their needs are taken care of.
Well, thank you so much for all of this thorough information. I think our parents are really going to be excited to watch this podcast and hear what you had to say. And thank you so much for clarifying all these parent questions that I get all the time. And I thank you so much, Mr. Singh.